Today we're going to be talking about the traditional career path. So I am standing up on my stand up desk. So, anytime I have out my desk, it's about to go down. And for those of you who do not know me, my name is Alicia Perkins and I help leaders lead their careers. And so I'm so excited today to be talking to you guys about moving away from what you feel is the right thing to do. And I want to move you more towards a direction of you being able to do what you really want to do. And I'm so excited to talk to you guys today because, I think that, there are a lot of people that they just tend to play it safe. And so, if you are one, because I want you guys to be free. I want you guys to be free like a bird, right? Because I want you to know that you have the power to shape your career in any fashion that you feel like you want to have it shaped in. And I think this is going to give you the power to be able to do so and do so boldly, right? Without feeling like, oh, if I do this, I don't want to make anybody upset or I don't want to make anybody mad. Hey, good morning, y'all. She said, always trying to play it safe. I know, right? So I want to be able to come this morning and just free your minds and free your souls so that you know that you don't have to play it safe, right? And this is very crucial in the time that we are in, y'all, because if we look around, things are not going as they normally would go, right? You look at your career, if you are looking for another job, if you are trying to buy a house, if you are at the grocery store, okay, you can tell that, things ain't really the way that they once was. And so this is now even more of it's just so key now for you to be able to step outside of that and be able to say, wait a minute, as things around me are starting to shift, I need to put my own self in a place to where I can also shift. And I think this is going to be key, right? Because a lot of times the things that you want is on the other side of the move that you're afraid to make. And, in life overall, you have to be able to embrace the fact of being able to take risks. And I know it can be scary, right? I know it can be scary to be like, child, I've never went down that path before, right? But I think it's all about not seeing it as a risk, as if there's something bad that could happen, but seeing it as an opportunity to grow. And this is like putting yourself in a mindset, y'all, to where you understand, right, that you are worth the risk. And also you are worth being able to step outside of what you think is possible and being able to believe even beyond that, right? Because it's easy to reach for goals that seem like, oh yeah, that seems like something that I can do. But who is on my live stream this morning that even has the audacity to be able to reach towards things that maybe seem impossible, right? Like, I've shared this story before in times. It was a morning that I was in prayer and I was talking to God, and God was like, you only believe me for those things that you think that you can do. And so when you receive those things, it's easy to say, oh, thank you, God. But was it really God, or was it that move which is really safe? Meaning that you just allowed yourself to think in the bounds of what you think could actually happen. But it is 2023, right? I want you guys to know there's only about 3.5 months left in a year, right? And that you guys can still be able to reach your goal. So let's talk a little bit about this safe path, right? This way of, okay, this is what seems right? Has anybody ever found themselves in their career, you're like, this is what seems like the right thing to do, or this is what seems like the next move for me, without even being able to really give yourself thought? And you guys see me looking down, baby, I got notes, I got TikTok, I got Facebook, I got everything going on this morning, okay? And so what I want to talk about, right, is first of all, like, not seeing your career as some kind of like copy machine. Now, that was a word, right? It's already starting off, right? Not meaning like not looking for a preset or a framework per se to where, hey, if I do it exactly like this, then these are the exact results that I think that I should get. And I think what tends to happen is we feel like if I just go after what the version of success that everybody else says is out there, right? Then I know that, for one, it could keep me away from any pitfalls, any stumbles, right? Any mistakes. And so we feel like if we go the way or the road that most people go, right, we think that, hey, that means that there is a chance of less mistakes, right? So if you've heard yourself say that, hey, if I go this way, which is a way that's known to everybody, then there's a chance that there is a less of a chance that I'll either fail or make a mistake. I don't want you to be afraid. I want you to be honest with me, right? Because I think it's so important to understand that sometimes the impact that you desire to make goes beyond what you've ever seen before. Okay, look, Tuesday I was super preachy. Okay, I'm not gonna start this morning, but I already feel like I'm in my mode to preach, but I'm not. I promise. So sometimes the impact that you desire to make is really beyond what you may have even been exposed to, right? Or even the level of success that you desire to have can sometimes be more than what you've been exposed to, right? So sometimes you'll start having these dreams and these goals, right? And you'll start saying, wait a minute, I don't know anybody who has went down this path, or I don't know anybody who has been able to succeed in the capacity that I want to. Like, wait a minute, I'll be the first person in my family to ever make six figures, right? Or whatever that goal is, right? And so you can find yourself being overwhelmed by the capacity of your goals because you've never seen anybody around them reach them, right? And then you will automatically tell yourself, calm down. Self, you are doing too much. Self, calm all the way down. Or almost be like, who do you think you are? Right? These are conversations that you have in your mind. Now, they may not sound exactly like this, but how they tend to go is like this. I want to do this. Okay, this goal seems it seems rather large, right? And then you'll start to nitpick your goals, right? Finding something wrong with it. I don't know about that because if it's something I have to do, then what I have to do is do that and do this. So you start nitpicking your goals and you start literally finding something wrong with the very thing that you want to do. And you don't realize that fulfillment, that next level, the lifestyle, right? All of that is in the dream that you are sitting there starting to pick apart, right? And what tends to happen is when that happens, then you'll start to tell yourself, I don't have enough within myself to make this thing come true. And then it's like a whole downward spiral from there because it's no longer about, hey, this is what I want. Now your focus is more on this is what I can't have. No, I can't have this, right? This goal, this next level, this next job, this amount of pay is just too much. And so now you will continue to live your life of wait a minute. I think that this may, how can I put it? It's almost like now that focus is on everything you can have rather than you understand the power in what you do have and understanding the things that you can attain. Right. And so it's really important to start to look at this path that you're on with your career and start seeing, okay, what am I actually trying to guide this path by? You know, when you play it safe, it's about I base the things that I want to do in my career based upon, right, what I think is in arm's reach, based upon the things that won't require too much from me. Right. And you start to base the moves in your career based upon what is easy rather than what it is that you really want to hit all the time, right? I have clients that I've talked to, and then we're talking, and then we're hopping on our Zoom call, and they're like, "Oh, I know last talk call I said this, but I think I kind of changed my mind." I'm like, "Okay, what happened?" Right? And so, because I ain't gonna let you get away with that with me. I'm like, okay, so what happened? Oh, yeah. So I started to think about, and the next thing that they say is they started to think about everything that they don't have. Right. And, it's easy to shift our goals based upon, right, a lot of times what we feel is something that we can get fast or what is something that is going to cause the least resistance. And I think it's really important that when you're looking to advance in your career, that you start to look at not what are the goals that I need that would allow me to stay me, right? Meaning like don't look at the goals that's not going to require anything from you. Those are the goals that you need to stay away from. Those easy goals, right? Easy. Meaning like, don't just look for something that is going to allow you to stay the same. And it's so important when you are wanting to set goals that you do set goals that go beyond who you are right now. that will allow you to stretch yourself, that will allow you to grow, that will allow you to think beyond where you are now. Because what's going to happen is you'll find yourself being able to check things off of a list, right? But you'll also find yourself not being able to sustain the success that you want because there was no growth there in the first place, right? Guys, hold on one second. Sorry, I had to lock my door because I have a 4-year-old who will run in here. Okay. And so it's really important, right, to make sure that as you set your goals that you are allowing, right? You are allowing yourself to not just think about who you are now, but think about who do you want to be and say, okay, this is the person that I want to be, right? Which is I think you need to base your goals based off of the person that you desire to be, right? Because sometimes we will set our goals and then our goals are more set on who we think we should be. I think it needs to be the other way around, to where you think about who you want to be and then set those goals to match that person. Because I'm a huge advocate of growth. I think that we all need to be experiencing growth in our life. I think it's really important, right? And so when you set these really, really safe goals, what you do is you cut off your growth. And when you cut off your growth, then you start to become stuck. And when you become stuck, then you cut off your pay. And then when you cut off your pay, then you start to cut off the life that you want. And then when you cut off the life that you want, then comes in this self-doubt, then comes in you being insecure, then comes in this whole blah, 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 blah. It just goes and goes and goes, right? Because I can tell by the kind of goals that somebody sets, whether or not, right, they desire to grow. Y'all, I remember when I started, right? I've been in business 4 years, right? For any of you who don't know, I was in HR for over 10 years. So been in business almost full time for 4 years. Do you guys know that when I first started off, I was charging $40? Now I know y'all was like, man, I wish I would have knew you back then. I know y'all be like, man, I wish I would have knew you back then. You missed your chance, right? I was charging $40, right? They had no clue, right? I mean, and I say that because I was insecure, didn't understand the level of my expertise, did not fully understand the transformation that I gave my clients. I didn't I did not understand the value that I had, right? But guess what happened? I started to get around people who did the things that I did, but who were more advanced than me, right? And again, while I'm with these people, I'm like, child, when they first started saying this, the thing, and it's the thing, it's like sometimes you find yourself in the same place because of who you will surround yourself with. It's impossible to think more or to think outside the box or to think beyond what you think that you're able to do because you keep yourself surrounded by people who are either at the same level as you or below. Now, this is not a rant to say, go find new friends. No, but what I'm saying is that when it's time for you to go to that next level, start looking for people who are where you already are, because then that's going to allow you to be able to think and see beyond where you can currently see. Sometimes you can feel so in a box. You can feel like there are no other options because you're not surrounding yourself with other options. There's other options out there. Right. But you have to be able to put yourself in a place where I can get access and I can get around these opportunities. And me being able to see these opportunities is not saying that I can just copycat, right? Because this is the mindset that I'm trying to break you from, is feeling like you have to go down a certain path. But you being able to see the opportunities out there for you will allow you to be able to be like, you know what? First of all, I've been playing it too small. Second of all, I have not been able to recognize the level of my impact. And that's what a lot of you guys, you need to be able to know and feel and understand what is the level of impact that your skills make. Stop saying, I just do X, Y, and Z. I hear people downplay their expertise all the time. Oh, I just do da, 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 da. That's important. Because if it wasn't important, there wouldn't have been a job made for that, right? And so if you keep shrinking your expertise or just saying, oh, I just do this, you won't ever be able to see beyond where you are because you already minimize your current place. It's impossible to think beyond where you are when you already shrink where you are now. It's impossible. And what happens is, and when you keep downplaying where you currently are, you will forever be accepting crumbs. But in your mind, you're like, oh, this is amazing. But when you put it in comparison of your value and your worth, my friend, it's crumbs. But when you keep thinking that where you are right now is just, oh, it's, it's okay. All it takes is a little bitty, little insy bitsy 2% raise, and you thinking, but in reality, when you look at the value of your skill set and your impact and the value that you bring to your team, the people around you, and you look at your results, you should be getting a 15, 20% raise. But they can easily keep throwing you this 2% raise, and you feel like, oh, I'm just so happy for my job because you have been able to just shrink the value that you currently bring. So when you shrink your value, everybody else around you will shrink your value too. And it's not always that they are just being mean, or it's not always done out of spite, but that's the reality that you paint for them. If you walk around, I'm just so happy you guys picked me. I'm so happy to be here. I'm so happy. I'll do whatever you need me to do. I'll work whatever you need me to work. I don't have no boundaries. Just use up my life, even though I have a family, even though I have friends, even though I have myself. It doesn't matter. I'll just do whatever you say. Yes, throw all the work on me. Throw it, throw it, throw it. I'll take it. I'll take it. Yes, yes, yes. Do whatever. I'm so happy. That is the reality that you paint for them. So that is how they will come at you. That is what they will expect of you. And again, sometimes it is out of spite, but not all the time. It's just like, oh, okay, this is what she does. And so now you have begun to shrink your expertise. Now you have started to shrink your brand. Now you have started to shrink your goals. Now you started to even shrink the words that come out your mouth. Everything around you has shrunk because you don't understand the value of your current place, right? Look, somebody said, look, I'm not trying to read nobody. Look, okay. Y'all know if you want the true friend, slide this way every time. Because look, I tell people, I would rather hurt your feelings and make you better than pump you up and you don't go nowhere. I just can't do it. And that's why a lot of this advice on LinkedIn, I'd be like, baby, they making you feel real good, but they're not setting you up for success. That they will tell you quick, quit your job, know your worth. But they're not telling you how to overcome that bad attitude. These people not showing you how to stop always shutting down when things don't go your way. They tell you to, hey, you should know your, no, first of all, what they say is just say, pay me my worth. You don't even know your worth. If I ask you right now, what is your worth, right? If I ask you right now, you would not be able to tell me. Or you would probably throw me a lowball number. So it's almost like stop shouting and drawing all of these eyes on you. And you're not in a place to be able to get what you truly deserve, right? It's about being able to look at where you currently are, right? And understand. This is the power of self-awareness, y'all. Being self-aware has saved my marriage. It has saved my relationships. It has helped me to raise my child the way that I should be raising her. Being aware of yourself. I don't have time to point the fingers. I don't have time to blame. But what I do have time to do is to make sure that I'm taking care of me and I'm doing what I need to do. And I'm holding myself accountable because it is more power in not being a victim. And it's not saying that bad things won't happen to you guys. Bad things happen all the time, my friend, right? Bad things happen all the time. But I do understand that I have the power to overcome anything. And I have the power to pick myself up out of whatever place that I'm in. Because look, I sound real, she real confident. I have moments, okay? I have my moments. But I have them with the Lord in prayer. I have my moments when I'm like, oh, this is a lot, right? But I understand that just because I feel a way in this moment, it does not mean that this feeling is going to have the power to, my emotions do not dictate my path. They just don't. So sometimes you do have to have a moment. Sometimes you do have to have a moment where you like, girl, get it. Hey, stop it right now. There are moments where I do have to go and pray and ask God to give me strength. All those moments happen, right? But I don't let what's supposed to be a moment be my life. I don't let what was supposed to be a session of me having to vent, I don't let that be my whole life. I'm not going to let one moment paint out what the rest of my life is supposed to look like. And this is what people do a lot of times. They'll let one moment, hey, have your moment, but that was supposed to be a moment. But now this moment has turned into a season, and the season has now it's your way, and now this way has become your life. Right? Somebody said, how do we assess our value experience and being able to advocate for ourselves when it comes to working within the corporate world? I actually have a workshop. I'm on day 2 right now, but this is exactly what I'm showing them how to do, is how to be able to know what is the value of your experience and things of that sort. Because y'all, it is not about how you feel, right? Because I've seen people, I work with clients, and they say, okay, I feel like I should be in this range, right? For one, it definitely is about market. What are the current conditions in the market, right? Because it doesn't matter how great your skill set is. If it's not what the job space need right now, you won't see that, right? But then also when you talk about being able to really value your, okay, I'll send it to you. Okay. It says, how do we assess, excuse me, you say, how do we assess our value and experience, right? And so first of all, how you're able to assess that is being able to understand what is the problem that you solve, right? Because anytime you look at a job, that's saying, okay, they have this problem, right? And so the person in this job role, they are supposed to solve that problem. That is what your skills do for them. It solves problems, right? And so when you're thinking about, okay, what does that mean with the value that I bring? Look at the problem that you solve, and then you want to look at what part of their success does that problem fall into, right? And so that's how you're really able to really get a gauge on what is the impact that you make with your skills. And that's huge, right? And so this is why a lot of times as people move up the chain, they start to advance and they make more what? They make more money, because the problem, and it can go either way. It can go either the problem that they solve has changed, right? Or the part that they play in that problem has changed, right? And so that's how you're able to get an idea of where do you fall in lines of this, right? So when I'm thinking about problems, do you save money? Do you make money? Are you having to streamline something? Or are you having to bring new folks in, right? And so there's a whole list of problems. And so it's about you being able to identify, first of all, what is the problem that you solve? Don't think about the task you do, because that's going to mess you up. When I say mess you up, meaning that is going to shrink your expertise. So don't think about, right, the everyday task. That means nothing. Think about the problem that all of those tasks solve, right? Because if you think about your job, it solves one thing, right? So you want to think about that, right? But then also what you want to think about is, in the job space that we are in now, what is the need for that, right? And so when you're talking about being able to advocate for yourself, now you need to think about, what are you asking for? And it's not just knowing what you're asking for, being able to understand, why do you need that thing, and what is the cost if you don't have that thing, and how, if you do not get that thing, what is the impact on your goals? Because I don't think people understand that, when you talk about being able to speak up for yourself, this is not about you just going in and just having your way. This is not about you just saying, hey, I want this, I want this, I want this. This is about you saying, hey, this is what I need in order to really to just do my job better. I say it every live stream, right? The better they serve you, the better you can serve them. So you have to look at, when you're talking about being able to advocate from yourself, is talking about being able to make sure that you have everything that you need to show up as you were paid to show up, right? And so it's not just about having a list of things, but it's about being clear on why is it that I need this? How soon is it that I need this? What's going to happen if I don't get this? And how is it going to impact the results that I bring forth in a good way or a bad way? Right. And so it's important to get clear on those things before you even make any ask. Because the more clear your ask can be, there is a higher chance that that ask will be met. Because most people think that they know how to advocate for themselves and to speak up for themselves, but in reality, they just complaining. But that's another live stream, right? Because you have to think about when you it's like when you are asking for something, whether you wanted to get more time off or you need more tools to do your job or whatever you want to pay raise, whatever, you have to see your ask as in, I am coming with a solution, right? Meaning that I'm feeling something is off. I'm feeling there's a need here. I'm feeling there's a lack here that could stop me from being able to bring the results and exceed them, right? So I need to be able to understand that me being able to ask for this thing is not only going to help me, but it's also going to help you as well too. But it's about you being able to clearly articulate that. And a lot of people will ask for things at work and they don't get the things that they need, not because their job is so horrible and mean, or mean. It's because they don't know how to articulate what it is that they need. It's not just about being able to ask, like for more pay. It's not just about you being paid more. It's about, hey, I need to be sure that the results that I bring forth is going to match what I'm being paid, because if it does not, that can affect me. I'm not saying to say these words exactly. I'm talking about the conversation to have within yourself, saying that can affect the way that I show up. This can affect the way, right? Because when you know that you are not being paid fairly or you're not being treated the way that you should be treated, that's going to affect you, right? Because when you even work for somebody, that is not a dictatorship. That is a partnership, right? So when you have, it's the same thing when if you're in a friendship or if you have a husband or a wife, when you, right, feeling like I'm giving more than what I get back, it's gonna be a problem. It's going to be a problem. And this is why people have problems with their jobs, because they're like, I give so much, but I don't see that coming back to me. So when you're asking for a raise, this is not about you just being greedy. You're like, no, this relationship, this partnership that we have feels off, and I don't want it to affect our goals. I don't want it to affect things that we are trying to reach. So what I need to do is have a conversation so I can make sure that we are both on the same page. And so I can also make sure that they also know the accomplishments and the successes that I bring forth. Because and not say that, but there are times when you are not being paid the money that you should be being paid for, not because they don't want to pay you, just that they may not even know why they should pay you. Because I've seen people take a really, okay, I'm gonna just do a really, really great job, and then they'll see. And they could possibly see, but they still don't know the real impact, right? And so that's a whole thing within itself. And so that's why it's really important to make sure. Hold on one second. Let me put my phone on don't disturb. Sorry, TikTok. It's really important to understand that even in those times when you feel like I don't get the things that I want or need, have you opened up your mouth? Have you? And if you are having the conversation, and this is not towards your comment, girl. If this is your first time here, I'm sorry, but anybody else, that I will go deep into something. So this part is not about you, because I don't really know the full context. And if you want to, please share the full context. But now I'm just on a whole nother thing. Um, but I think it's really important that if you don't get the things that you are an expectation of, just making sure that you're having conversations and making sure you're having the right conversations. I think that's so important, right? Because you'll be surprised how you don't have the things that you necessarily want or need. It's because you don't ask for them and you don't know how to ask for them. Somebody said, she said, I drafted a salary letter to provide my potential employers that explains my acts and the solutions I provided to their company. Good. Do you offer a one-on-one session that allows you? Yes. So send me a DM. So I do. I actually do. So yes. And like I was saying, it's so important to be able to lean in on what is it that you don't have. And then, thank you. And then also lean back into why is it that I don't have it? And this is so important, y'all. This is so key right here. At the end of the day, that's not your company. You can't make them do nothing. You can't make them do anything. You can't make them do anything they don't want to. And I really want to talk about this because when you're talking about being able to advocate for yourself, right? Again, it's not about to strong arm them. It's about you being able, I need to speak up to see if me and you are a good fit. That's why you being able to advocate for yourselves starts in the interview process. It all starts in the interview process. Being able to ask those tough questions and stop being afraid of, if I ask this, then I don't think that these folks gonna hire me good. Because if they don't want you to ask any questions now when they hire you, they don't want you to ask any questions then. So hallelujah, you just dodged the ball. Oh, wait, is that the word? Yeah. Anyway, and so even when you're advocating for yourself, it's about being able to understand, like, I'm not trying to be a big bossy, right? But I'm trying to find my space, meaning like I'm trying to find spaces that's going to be in alignment with my values. And so the faster you speak up, the faster you find it out. There are people who have been stuck in jobs that ain't gonna take them nowhere for years because they have not had the conversations they should have had a long time ago. Trust me, when I think about old dusty relationships, you should have been talked about marriage. You should have been talked about marriage. Like, no, I don't want to talk about marriage because if I talk about it, then he might get afraid or overwhelmed. And so you've been sitting there 10, 12, 15 years waiting on a ring and you ain't got no ring yet. It's because you have not had the conversation. Whereas 6 months in, or not even that, because I don't even, but that's a whole nother live stream. But if you would have had that initial conversation of, do you even want a wife? Do you even want what is this? If you would have had that initial conversation, friend, it could have saved you 10 years of your life, but you don't want to have the conversation. You just say, oh, if I do all of the things that a wife is supposed to do, then he will eventually marry me. Or in your career, if I just overwork myself, have no boundaries, and just be a yes man, they will give me money. Y'all, okay, let me stop. Hold on, let me calm down. I gotta know if you guys are getting value this morning, okay? I gotta know if you guys are being helped this morning, because you guys know I will go in a minute. I'm just saying, if you would have had that conversation years ago, it could have saved you years. But hey, that's okay. Look, when you know better, you do better, right? And so don't be afraid to have tough conversations. You need to embrace those tough conversations. You need to welcome conversations in those tough conversations. Look to have tough conversations, because the answers that you need are in those tough conversations. The signs of whether or not you are wasting your time is in tough conversations. Yes, this is the whole sermon. Y'all know I can't help. Yeah, I'm a whole pastor's wife. I think it's just in me to get, like, I don't know. But anyway, y'all, what you need to know to make your next move is in those tough conversations. In those conversations, you like, I don't know what they're gonna say, or, oh, I'm afraid that they may say this. Even if you look, you can say, I'm afraid to know what they're going to say, but I need to know what they are going to say, so I can then be able to identify, am I wasting my time here, right? Are you wasting your time? Start seeing your time is precious when you are in your job search. And I get it. There are times, friend, when you are in a season of survival, meaning I ain't got no job right now. I need to pay my bills, right? I got a family. I get it. But if you're not in that season and you are looking for another job, don't be like, oh, I wonder if they will hire me. No, start thinking, do I want to invest my time, my skills, and my resources here? Start thinking. As you're going through job boards, as you're having interviews, stop thinking, will they hire me? And start thinking, are they worth my time? Right? You are not some beggarly somebody on side of the road trying to beg for a job. You are a person with a expertise that you have put money into. Folks out here with $100,000 worth of student loans, my child, you have put money into your skills, okay? You have put blood, sweat, and tears. You have put up with disrespectful workplaces to get your skills. My friend, we're not going to plant these skills anywhere. You work for those skills. Those are your skills. No. Sometimes you got to recognize you're not worthy of my skills. And this is not, it's, you know what? There's nothing wrong with being a little, what's the word? Cocky about that. Why? Because they're yours. You worked for them. You had to put up with some stuff in order to get your skills. But now you can walk into a season, you're like, I'm not putting up with that. I've been able to plant those seeds already. I've had, when you're at a point in your career, you have to just compromise some things to get the skills. But when you're seasoned, no, my friend, you need to be picky. And not to be picky because, oh, I'm a snob. No, be picky because your life depends on it. Literally, your your life depends on it. Right? Your mental life depends on it. Your financial life depends on it. Your emotional life depends on it. Your health life depends on it. Because if you find yourself in the wrong workspace, my friend, you'll find yourself You'll literally find yourself stressed out, sick, can't halfway sleep, don't halfway eat, hair starting to fall out. Now all of a sudden, you've never had to deal with anxiety before in your life, and all of a sudden you got issues with it and with anxiety because you did not think about, are you worth my time? And I get it. Things in some spaces can start off good. You're like, I went through the process. I don't think I saw any red flags, but please be honest with yourself. Make sure, like, did you ignore the red flags? Right. But if you say, these things have changed, because it happens, right? It happens when you got friendships, when you relationships, folks will switch on you. But it's about how do you respond when that switch happens? Do you ignore it? Do you lean into it? Do you investigate it? Say, wait a minute. Let me see what is happening here. Things are different. Let me see if I'm going to extend grace in this situation or what. Right. But that is sometimes when those hard conversations have to happen, because I can't afford, literally sometimes, to waste time. Right. This is one of the things that I teach my clients, right? How to be able to navigate your career, not just do a good job, but manage your career. Because there are folks out here who are killing it on their job, doing amazing work, but they cannot manage their career. And when you cannot manage your career, you will always be the one empty. Everybody else reaps off of your hard work. Everybody else reaps off of your skill set. Everybody else reaps off of your dedication. I say that in quotes because that's another live stream. Everybody reaps off of that, but you. You are the one that's stuck in growth. You are the one that's stuck in pay. You are the one that's stuck at work all the time, but everybody else gets to reap off of your skill set. And that's not fair to you. But this is what happens when you don't manage your career. And a lot of people don't manage their career, right? Because they do not understand what their career is supposed to be. Your career is not just about, and I want to say it's really not about you being able to make them successful. When I say them, I'm talking about corporate America. It's not about you making corporate America successful, because with or without you, they gonna make money. But your career is about you being able to make sure you are successful. That is what your career should be setting you up to live the life that you want. Why? Because they set up their establishments so they can live the life that they want. It's business. It's business for them. So it needs to be business for you. And this is why I even set up my group, The Best to You. I want to teach you how to be able to manage this thing called a career so you don't keep getting the short end of the stick. Right? I want to be able to have a safe place to where you can come and ask questions, have contact with me, right? So you don't have to try to keep you don't have to keep moving through everything alone, or everything doesn't have to be a guesswork, but you can allow yourself to feel confident in the career decisions that you make. And when you make career decisions, you know that this move that I'm making, this choice that I'm making, it's serving me. It's serving me, right? Because they gonna get theirs, trust me, with or without you. So your mindset needs to be, I'm going to get mine with or without them. And this is not selfish, right? This is a requirement to be successful, and not just be successful, but be successful on your terms. You need to be successful on your terms, because there are people that are experiencing success to what other people think is successful, but child, they miserable. They in jobs that they bored in. They making good money. And the only thing that they can hold on to is that I'm making good money. Though they don't enjoy what they do, they don't like what they don't like any of that. I don't want to do that. Right? Career management, exactly. Right. So I wanted to be able to have a group to where you can come and be like, look, I'm going through this, I'm going through this. And also on your own convenience, be able to consume information, be able to learn how to manage your career and do it boldly. Okay, so if you guys definitely want more information, I am having a huge sale on my group right now. Usually it is $97 a month, or you can get it for $9.97 for the year. But until Wednesday, I'm having a big Labor Day sale. But until I think next Tuesday or Wednesday, you can get it for $67 a month. That locks in your rate, or you can get it for $5.97 lifetime, which is a huge deal. And so with that group, you have 2 calls with me a month. I'm there to answer any questions. I'm in that group every day. And it's a good way to be able to manage your career, right? For less than $3 a day, right? Because if you want to work with me one-to-one, it's an investment. I ain't even gonna lie to you. It's an investment to work with me one-to-one. But you have another way you can still get access. You can still get the same help and be able to make sure that you're not out here making everybody else successful except yourself. Because I'm getting tired of seeing y'all pour from these empty cups. No more empty cups, okay? I want your cup to be just as full as everybody else's cup is, okay? Because it's so important for you to understand that you deserve that. And like I said again, the more you serve yourself, you can go on my page, or you can go to thebestyou.me. It's thebestyou.me. Yeah. Yes, I'm so excited to work one-to-one with you. I'm so excited about that. Yes, no more empty cups. We ain't doing that no more, okay? But it's about you being able to get to a place in your career, man, where you can feel good about what you do. I don't think that you have to be like super, oh, like this is a thing I want to do my whole life. No, but I do think that you need to feel good about what you do. Why? Because you owe it to yourself. Sometimes you can find yourself just Yeah, and this is just me, y'all know I share my whole life, but when you've been one to like always go through hard things, you can become like that can be your norm to where you just used to stuff just being hard. You used to having to struggle. You used to having to, like they say, get things out the mud. Like struggle has just been your life. You've been the one that's been having to like hold everybody up. You have been the one that's been, you know what I'm saying? Like the one that has to bear everything. It's just so that has become your norm. So sometimes it can be even hard to be able to even be able to see something as ease. Like, wait a minute, I can have this and have that without a struggle. Yes, but a lot of times things come without a struggle when you can get help. When you're able to put yourself in a place to where you can say, you know what? I I don't know what I am doing. Y'all, like I had to thank the Lord. He done work on my heart. I had to do some self-work. It was difficult for me to say, I don't know what I'm doing. It was hard for me to say at one point, I got myself here, right? But once I was able to experience that growth, now when I say I don't know what I'm doing or I don't know how to do that, I feel a relief of knowing I don't have to know how to do everything. I don't have to know how to solve every problem, right? And it's a relief in that because now it's not about performing, but it's about me being able to live. And when you're in that mode of always having to perform, always having to look good, always having to make the perfect moves, always having to have the perfect thing to say, when you're in the mode of feeling like you always got to do everything perfect, you live a life of having to perform. And when you live a life of having to perform, you lose who you are. You don't even know who you are anymore, right? And now, even when you hit goals, those goals don't even mean anything to you because those goals was never set for you. Those goals was set as an achievement to show everybody else that you are something. So there was no tie with those goals. Those goals didn't mean anything because all those goals was those goals was set on people pleasing. Now I know I'm talking to somebody. And the reason why I can bring these things out in great detail, you like, girl, you read my mind because I used to be there. But it's something like when you can get free and you can just operate in a way to where you like, I don't have to prove it to nobody. When you start operating with, I know my value. When you start operating in, I got this word from the Lord. The Lord said go, right? And it's not saying that I'm just all the way there yet. I had to check myself this morning, right? But what it is saying is that I'm not afraid to do the like that work, right? This like having to perform is exhausting. But what it is saying is that I'm not afraid to do the work. I'm not afraid. And a lot of people won't advance in their careers because they don't want to do the work. And when you don't want to do the work, you tell yourself that you're not worth the work, and that's not true. Because you can find yourself having all the energy to do the work for everybody else, but you don't have the time to do the work for yourself. That's why when people say, I really want to work with you, but I don't have time. So you got time to go work 8, 9 hours a day, 10 hours a day and help somebody else reach their goals, but you don't have enough time to reach your goals. You're putting yourself in a vulnerable place, right? Because you don't ever let it be to where you have more time to help somebody else succeed than you have to help yourself to succeed. Because you know that once I get myself in a place of being able to succeed, now I'm in a much stronger place that I can help the other people around me. I told y'all before, no more empty cups. No more empty cups. Okay, so we are going on an hour. Do y'all have any questions? Any questions? If like again, if you do want to join the group, I'm doing a great deal. Like I said, you can get lifetime access, y'all. Lifetime access. Lifetime, right? Meaning that you can even have peace of mind knowing that if I have a question, I have somewhere to go. I have someone to ask, right? That one, you have that option as well too. And so also if you want to work with me one to one, that is an option as well. And so I help my clients do is I help them to be able to get clear on where they are in their life and where they want to go in their career as well. And I help them to align their career with their life, right? Help them to make sure that the next steps that they take is going to bring them towards the life that they want. And so what I do is I help them to get clear on their core skills. I help them to get clear. Yes, the doors of the church are open. I help them to be able to identify and get clear and make sure they know what is your expertise, what is the problems that your skill set solve, what is the pay that you need to be in expectation of, right? And so I help them. I'm really on career alignment and career advancement, right? You can also work with me in leadership development, knowing how to lead yourself so you can also know how to lead others, right? And then I also have a package if you want to build legacy. I'm not gonna go too much into that because I don't offer that to anybody, but I teach my clients how to be able to take their expertise and monetize it outside of their 9 to 5. Not saying that to start a full-time business, but you at least know that you can take your expertise because a lot of y'all are solving problems at your company for millions of dollars and they paying you pennies. But what about if you could monetize your expertise, your frameworks, and create your own, get something of your own to pass down to your children and your children's children? About being able to build legacy, about not feeling like you always got to put all of your eggs in one basket. I'm talking about being able to build intellectual property with the skills that you work for, the skills that you pay for, to empower yourself so you don't feel like you will ever have to be able to depend on another corporate job. It's not saying that you will quit your job. It's not saying that you won't have a 9 to 5. It's not saying that you got to build a full-time business, but at least know how to monetize your expertise. So if you want to work with me, send me a DM. Let's talk. We can set up a free call and I can go over exactly what it is that you need help with. So let me know. Do you guys feel served? Let me know. Do you feel served? Yes, friend. Penties. Okay. Guys know that I do go live on Tuesdays and Thursdays. If you can't ever stay for the full live stream, go subscribe to my channel on YouTube. I'm on YouTube and I am Alicia Perkins. I save all of my live streams on there. I think I have like 87 videos on there. I also have my podcast. Y'all, is anybody ready for y'all? I have been off my podcast since I think like June. Life has been lifing, right? But Career Revamp is coming back this month. I'm so excited. Also, if you go on Career Revamp, I'm on iTunes. What's this? Is it called iTunes? I don't know. Y'all know. Find the podcast. But I'm on there as well. I have like 55 episodes on there too. So if you love hearing me talk to you on live stream, put me on in your car. So go ahead and subscribe to my podcast, Career Revamp. I'll be back dropping episodes again in probably like another week or two. And so I drop episodes on there every Thursday. So I'm definitely excited. I love to show up and serve you guys. I'm so happy to hear that you guys have been served. And so again, if you have any questions, guys, let me know. And I'll see you guys soon. Bye.